Hi, Ashley, and pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your experience with other patients. I know you came to Dr. Furley for multiple of reasons, and you were suffering, and you are a kind, beautiful young lady. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. So why did you come see Dr. Furley?
Well, I've been suffering for some issues for over 4 years, and I've been to so many other doctors, including the doctor I'm still seeing. But I just decided I have to find someone else, and I came across Dr. Farley's video online, and I showed my husband, and then he quickly made the appointment. But yes, so I've been having issues, abdominal pain, and what else? Other symptoms every day for a long time. And every doctor I went to couldn't find anything. They've done so many tests, colonoscopies, nothing was showing. And so far I know I found the right doctor.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great to hear.
Yeah,
So,
autoimmune issues, gastrointestinal issues,
Yeah.
energy.
okay, so overall, a lot of things. Okay, great. So originally, when you started having the problem, before seeing Dr. Farley, approximately how many doctors did you see?
Oh wow. I've seen 5 doctors. I say yes. I've seen about 5 different doctors, and none of them could find anything. And even including the treatments that they had me on didn't help. Medications they had me on, none of that would relieve the symptoms that I was feeling. And it got to the point where I was down to 89 pounds, and I had to be on a feeding tube, and that still didn't help. And so it was about 5 doctors. I went to every doctor.
Hmm. And you said a feeding tube, so literally they will put you like some sort of liquid or vitamins in there,
Yes,
and that's
yes,
how you would feed
nutrients.
yourself.
Yeah.
Uh,
IV.
Through an IV. And because you were having like issues when you eat certain things, how limited were you to certain things you ate?
It did not matter. I could eat a cracker still, as if I had a cracker or even a real meal, I would still have abdominal pain and bloating and a lot of discomfort, and that would tire me out throughout the day because I would not know when the symptoms would come. So anything seemed like anything would trigger my pain, my issues.
Right. And I recall when you first came to see Dr. Farley, you had an ice pack in your hand and you just carry it and walk around with it. Can you tell me more about that?
The pain mostly felt like burning pain, and it would never just be zero. I would never feel like zero pain. It would always, the lowest would be about 5 at the level. The highest most of the time would be a 10. And then the ice pack would always seem to relieve the burning sensation I feel in my stomach and my abdomen.
Right. And you also, a lot of your issues were also pain and being in the restroom basically constantly all day.
Yes,
Okay.
and including through the night, I would go to the bathroom 8 times mostly during the day and about 5 times mostly through the night. So I would never really get any sleep.
Wow. So about like 15 to 20 times daily you're in the restroom.
Yes.
Okay. And when you decided to make that phone call, were you guys nervous to make that phone call? Were you skeptical to come see us?
No, when I saw the video, it just clicked. To in essence, the doctors said that they were at their wits' end with her in her cases. They ran all the tests that we could. They've exhausted all the things from the various angles and from their perspective, and just seeing the Dr. Farley explain the different types of approaches to treatment, where it's the pharmaceutical route with the doctors, and then the non-medical route, and then the neurobiomedicine approach. It just made so much sense, just from the standpoint of everything that she had already gone through, and then how she progressively got worse throughout, over the course of the year, starting with the autoimmune, then the bad reaction to the steroids, and then the septic shock, and then the constant stomach pain, and number 2 all the time, and then just the wide variety of surgeries, tests, just a number of stuff that she went through. Was like, okay, we've gone the medical route. The doctor said it on more than one occasion that they don't know what to do. So it's like, okay, we have to go a different route, like she said, and this just made so much sense just from watching it. So when we made the phone call, it was something that we had to do. It was an investment worth making, and fortunately, it was still in state.
Yes.
Okay, great. And Pleasure, now let me ask you this. Because Ashley was suffering, and how did this impact your life? How did this make you feel as a husband, as a father, as a caregiver to her?
Well, I took my vows seriously, in sickness and health. I didn't see it as a burden so much, as I knew that she would do the same for me, and love of my life. So just do everything I can to make her feel better, as best I could. And in my mind, that was okay. Listen to the doctors, do everything that we're trying to do. Listen to her and her body, and then see how she reacts. But not gonna lie, it does wear on you at times, and I found myself at moments she doesn't even know that I would have a cry here or there, and it would be spontaneous. I would be cutting the grass, and then out of the blue just break down. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize everything built up to this point where I just had to release. Or I talk to friends. Oftentimes I hear that how strong I am and how lucky she is to have me. But in my mind, it's what's the alternative? If I don't do this, the alternative is death, right? Or death of our relationship, or death of our marriage, and death isn't an option for me or for us. And I'm always looking towards life and happiness, and trying to get her back to where she was. We've been together for such a long time. I've seen basically all of our adult life. So we've seen the whole arc of her at her lowest and her at her highest, and so it's. And then, of course, with our child, and how this has affected her, and in the inability that she had to be able to do the basic things of life and the basic things with our son, how much it wore on her, and I knew I needed to be strong for all of us, so that she can tolerate her own existence and want to live. There were times where, not that she would do it, but she just felt like giving up, as far as like just not putting in any effort. And then there's like, no, that's not the right way we're thinking about this. There's the thing about life is that it has qualities. Your quality of life right now wasn't great, but it has qualities.
Right.
So it's better than the alternative. But I can understand, with her being in constant chronic pain, why she would think the way she thinks. Because life is suffering, and when you're in constant chronic pain, you don't need anyone to tell you that.
Yeah.
So trying to alleviate her burdens, still trying to keep her active in our lives so that she doesn't feel like a burden, and that she is contributing, was very important. But understanding her limitations, adjusting with them as she got better and worse, celebrating her good days, although they were few and far in between, and being there for her, physically, emotionally, while she was going through. On myself, I tried to work out, play some football, do activities with my son, and then, just doing other things to take my mind off of life,
Right.
but still, trying to be present.
Right. And God sent you here for a reason, and He always gives us challenges in life, and He's just testing to see how strong we are. Now, let's talk about the positive and happy stuff. So let me ask you this, Ashley, how did your life change after seeing Dr. Fraley? Tell me about your everyday.
Okay.
Tell me about what you do, how it changed your life. So.
Oh man. Before I was mostly in the bed, and waking up, I'm in pain in the bed. Couldn't get up to do a lot, but now just about every day I'm cooking. I couldn't even cook before. Couldn't even go downstairs to the kitchen most of the time. But anyway, yeah, I'm cooking, cleaning. I'm going for walks. I couldn't get out the house. Couldn't go. I was mostly online shopping before, but now I'm getting out, going to the store with my family, and even my son said Monday we had a long day. We went out, and he said yesterday, "Mommy, yes, Monday was fun." And most of the time, my husband and him are always going out, and I'm home trying to recover from what I'm going through. But now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. So I'm doing a lot more now. I have more energy, and the symptoms I had before are not as often. There are times I don't have them at all through the days, and that never happened. And so.
Yeah, she was like 20 hours in the bed,
Mm-hmm.
or or stationary, no energy, completely drained. She explained her symptoms, because almost everyone that we knew doesn't or didn't understand. But the best she could explain it was that when you have the flu and you have to go, and then you feel drained while you're going. That's how she felt.
Every
And
day,
she would have it
yeah.
constantly.
4 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And with the pandemic, we've been doing school from home, remote learning for our son, and there were times where she had a little bit of energy, or basically she would muster up all her energy to try to be there for him, but then she would typically have to tap out. So he would start class at like 9, she'd be done at like 11, 12, her mom would come over, and then
she would
help
stay,
take over, and
for the whole time, yeah.
Right.
I would try to work in between, helping him with stuff, and it was,
But now it's different. You're
Yes,
able to
oh,
do
gosh,
that. So
yeah.
you're with him from 9 to like the rest of the
and
day.
I had to take naps before. Now I don't even take naps.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh, he must love it. He must be so happy to have
Yeah.
mommy back.
Mm-hmm.
And what about now the restroom situation? Are you still going 15 to 20 times daily?
No.
So approximately how many
I was
times?
going to say, the least I go will be once, and the most would be, depending on if I'm learning a new food, if it doesn't seem to work well with me, it will be about 4 times. But other than that, it will be 1 to 2 times a day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what about the eating situation now? So you're eating regular food. Are you still using the IV?
No, I'm not using IV anymore, but I'm able to eat regular food, just the organic foods or the foods on the list that my body can tolerate.
Mm-hmm. The food that was listed on your blood work.
Right, yes.
That's great.
yeah,
So
she's eating, 3 to 6 times, or 4 to 6 times a day.
Yes.
great.
And whereas before, like she said, there would actually be days or weeks where she wouldn't eat at all because it would cause the pain to exacerbate.
Right.
So she was living with level 5 pain, for example, it would fluctuate a little bit, but if she ate, it would jump up to like level 8 pain or higher, and she would have to deal with the constant, bathroom situation. And while she was on the feeding system, she was getting 12 hours of nutrients, and that helped her regain some weight because she was, 80, 85 pounds.
But even the TPN or the feeding tube, it seemed like whatever ingredients was in that would still trigger parts of my body, and I hated being on that. Yeah.
And it also didn't satiate her hunger, so she was still hungry throughout that time.
Right.
So then she would occasionally, she'd go 7 days without eating and then eat something just because her stomach has been screaming at her for a week.
Yeah.
And then she'll deal with the pain for that time. So now it's, she's eating on the way here.
Now she doesn't stop eating. It's so cute.
You take little things like that for granted, and for years not being able to eat comfortably,
Right.
to being able to, when we talked about the diet situation with Dr. Farley, and with Ashley, and she was like, I don't care if we have to cut all these ingredients out. I just want to be able to eat something.
Right.
And
exactly.
it just, and then with the variety of which she's able to eat too, it's more than we expected too.
It's mostly fruits, vegetables, and occasionally meat. And I can't eat the other meats that I used to be able to eat, but I'm happy I'm able to eat something and not have to go through the symptoms. And I'm able to socialize like friends and family again.
Right. That's awesome. So, I think I lost my thought.
Okay.
Forgive me. Okay, great. Is there anything you guys want to share? Do you recommend our office to anybody?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do recommend Dr. Farley's office. Absolutely. I really thought that this was going to be it for me. I thought I was going to go through this for another 4 years or even longer, or this will be my last year. I don't know. Well, I didn't know, but yes, Dr. Farley's office, yes, come.
Oh, it's awesome.
No matter what you're going through,
right.
he knows. Yes.
Right.
And
And
there was a group that she had joined called the Mighty. It was a bunch of people who had
It's an app.
chronic, illnesses, some undiagnosed, and that's her situation. She's been undiagnosed still all this time with this, and she's tried so many different medicines for the different named diagnoses that are similar.
Right.
And
Symptoms, yeah.
right.
but and she's heard some horror stories on there, and definitely Dr. Farley's office could be a great boon to people who are suffering in that vein. Just the whole approach of having your body being the one to heal you, and removing the obstacles and boosting up your body's ability to heal itself. It just made so much sense overall, and the actual ability to see it from her first treatment, her body respond, and then the second treatment it was more of a drastic change in her.
That's awesome.
And then everything just started to improve steadily, and it was almost like a reverse snowball effect. When it was going up exponentially, and then she got to the point where she was, instead of being 20% of herself, she was 60% of herself, and then 70, and then 75% of herself. And we're still working her way up to 100. And we're still pushing along.
God willing. Yep. All right. Great job. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. You guys are awesome patients, and I wish you more and more health to come to your way. Thank you.
Thank you.